just to paint a picture of my dad, how evil I think he is. Me and him, so you very nicely was paying me compliments there. I hate compliments, by the way. Hopefully my poker face was on point and you didn't notice. But so me and my dad have got very, very similar skills. So I can, through senses, I can map people out pretty well. I can map you out. I know your strengths, your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, your doubts. I can sense them, I can feel them. And sometimes I deliberately engage in conversation to find out who you are.
Yeah.
Am I dealing with somebody that's going to trample on me? Or am I dealing with somebody that needs me? So with those people skills, I use them to build people up.
Yeah.
So you'll have my dad sat there, you'll have me sat here. You'll have someone walk in this room and they'll tell us a story that's maybe bothering them or bugging them. Now, me and my dad will use the exact same tools, the exact same techniques and skill set. That man will leave after speaking to my dad feeling like he wants to end his life because he's just been reminded of all his imperfections and flaws. I promise you, I give it my best shot. With the exact same skills, that person leaves feeling like, I'm actually a lot better than I thought, and I can conquer the world if I keep reminding myself of what Liam just pointed out. I didn't even realise that I look nice from that angle, or I say that word nicely, or that makes me feel a certain way, which then it means I'm kind and I'm not as selfish as I thought, and I'm a lot stronger than I thought, and I'm not actually this broken child that I think I am. I am a man.
Yeah.
So we use the same skills for different results.
Yeah.
That's why I think he's evil.
Yes.
We use the same technique.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I think, I guess the next question is then, those skills that you now use to be able to build people up, did you ever use them in a way on yourself that would rip yourself down, like those, not necessarily self-harm in the way that I might have done it, but those things where you're turning against yourself, where you hate yourself, where you're continuing that work? Did you ever go through that phase?
Never.
Wow.
I've never, ever. The only self-destructive things I've done is probably get out of my nut for too long. But I didn't.
So escape through drugs and recreational things.
Yeah, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't know if it was. No, I have used drink and drugs to escape, but on a whole, I always enjoyed the destination.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, so there was a period with my dad. I did use drink and drugs to escape. I was introduced to drink and drugs
through him.
But I've also, I've enjoyed at times to be in a place where my perception is altered, and I can get into deeper conversations and listen to Dire Straits and really feel every rift.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not encouraging anybody does this, but I'm also very good at switching straight back, and I like being present and stone cold sober, which is why I go months and sometimes years without touching a drop of alcohol. But I think because from a very young age, my nan used to tell me this, that my dad was jealous of me.
Yeah.
He would tower over me. I mean, from a young age. My dad would be tuning his guitar, and I'd flick the TV on, and I'm a kid, and he'd kick the control out of my hand. So I've not thought about this because I've always tried to build myself up. Now, sometimes you can't help how you feel.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling sad or vulnerable or disconnected or lost or purposeless, if I'm feeling that, you can't really control a feeling until you take action.
Yes.
And that's normally internal words. So if I feel any of that creeping in, I speak to myself, Liam, remember how far you've come. Like, think of all the things you've got to be happy for and cheerful of. Liam, your mum's still alive. You fucking adore that woman. Snap out of it. And then I will snap out. So if anything, I've used that to build myself up because maybe I've always had the pressure of, you're not me. Because my dad always wants to be number one. You're not me. My dad's never wanted me to do well.
Yeah.
So maybe I've been in fight mode my whole life.
Yeah. Well, and also you mentioned your nan and your mum there. So before we and the reason I want to bring them in before we talk about the episode where your dad fed you drugs and played with your mind, your mum and your nan are, and I wonder if this is why you've never gone to the self-harm bit, because you had the balance of these two wonderful women in your life.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned them, because anybody listening to this will be thinking, fucking yeah, where was his mum and his nan?
Yeah.
They were right, well, I say right, they weren't right beside me when the abuse was taking place, but remember, abuse doesn't take place publicly.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all done under the radar.
Yeah.
It's all done secretly.
Yeah.
It's all done intermittently.
Yes.
So I wasn't going back reporting I'm being abused again,
No.
because it was all very subtle abuse.
Yeah, it's strategic. These people are strategic.
They were there for me, but then when I did eventually come round and say, right, my brain is cooked, it's fried, I am in a really bad place. I'm alive because of them.
Yeah.
Because because we're talking in different chapters. Like the whole drug thing with my dad, how I didn't lose my life and my liberty because I was off the rails. But the love and the strength and the support from my mum and my nan, and I mean the love from them.
Yeah.
It saved me, which is why I'm very respectful towards women.
Which we are definitely going to look at, because you
and my dad's not.
That's the strange thing.
My dad hates women.
Yeah.
And when I look at when I'm on the internet and I'm looking at like the whole manosphere is a very popular space now.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of slowly but surely contributing towards that, but with a balance.
Yes.
Yes, be a man. Yes, be strong. Yes, put boundaries in place. Don't let anybody take the piss out of you.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, the man who pays is the man who says. If you're providing a roof, shelter, love, warmth, protection, and you've created this lovely safe space for your partner to live in, then I do think that the man should, a lot of the time, make the final call.
Yeah.
I'm traditional like that.
Yeah.
But you've got to respect and love women.
Yeah,
They carry babies.
Yeah.
They give life. And also, when you're laying in bed with the flu, or you feel like you're dying, or you're depressed, or you're thirsty, who brings up the Lemsip to bed?
Yeah.
Who tucks you in? Who puts the flannel on your forehead?
Yeah.
Who keeps you safe? It's the women.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
I
women.
heard this once, and I'm going to say it because it's just reminded me, and I don't know who said it, but I'm going to say it again. So it's not mine. I could pretend it was, but it's not. But I heard a man say this, and he said, women multiply. So if you give them love, they'll multiply that love, and they'll turn it into even more love.
Give them love, they'll give you life.
Yeah. And also, you have, intimate relations with a woman. She's going to multiply that and give you a baby if you want one. And then also, if you treat her badly, she's going to multiply that and she's going to give you hell. So a woman will just multiply what you give her. And if you give her safety, she'll multiply it and give you everything you could ever want. And I think, you and I are of the same age, roughly. And I think it's nice when men want to do the, traditional roles and look after the woman. I've spent a long time in masculine energy because of my survival mode. And I really want to be in that feminine space. Okay, I always want to run my own businesses and so on and so forth. And I think that should be absolutely okay. But it's nice to feel that you're safe and looked after, and that's a choice, not something you have to do. All of those things are really... I think there's nothing wrong with those traditional values. And what's interesting is that, again, when men are raised by men like your dad, the dads will often try and convince the boy that well, I treat your mum like that because she's a bit of a flirt. She's a problem. She winds me up. She does all of these things. That's why I do it. And so the little boy grows up hating women, not trusting them, and never being able to have a cohesive, loving relationship. Why were you so different? Because you love women.
I don't know, and I've women made me feel safe.
Yeah.
Women, the two people in the world that made me feel the safest by a country mile were both female.
Yeah.
That's the only.
So we got to give credit to them. That's the answer.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I owe everything to my mum and my nan.
Yeah.
Everything. I would be in jail or dead now. I promise you. When I say off the rails, I don't like to. Certainly publicly like to talk about some of the the terrible things I got up to.
Yeah.
Not because I'm afraid of exposing myself, but I was very aggressive.
Yeah.
I was very violent at one stage.
So that's your self-harm. I'm glad you've said that, because although you didn't hate on yourself, every bit of hate was being projected into violence.
If I could justify it.
Yeah.
So I was never a bully.
Yeah.
I never would pick on a vulnerable person. It would normally be, you know, I'm going to go and fight 3 people at once.
Yeah. Well, that's self-harm.
Yeah, possibly.
That's
There
because
you go.
that's dangerous. So that is where it happened.
Yeah, I was definitely 100% addicted to dangerous scenarios and uncomfortable positions.
Yeah.
This is an uncomfortable,
Yeah.
as beautiful as it is.
Yeah.
Most people would hate to be here.
Oh, God, yeah.
Exposing themselves completely as a fully grown man with a fucking hairy chest with cameras and lights on them. Saying,
And pink flowers.
So there's always been something in me that is, I don't know, I gravitate to danger.
Yeah. Again, you're used to it. You've been brought up around it. You know, you've been in a dangerous situation from the minute your dad started to abuse you in various different ways. That is dangerous. It's not safe. So you're used to that. And I think to express, imagine when you're, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, and your dad's masturbating in the bed next to you, that's too big. Your little brain has no ability to absorb that information, make sense of it. It literally can't do that, and put it somewhere that's logical and rational. So what it does is it goes, well, that's too much, shrinks it down, compartmentalizes it, pushes it down into the body, stores it in the body, because trauma is stored in our body, as we mentioned earlier. But also the brain has to adapt to that. And the only way it knows how is the child, as I've said many times, will self-abandon. And when they self-abandon, they'll go for more danger because it's familiar. So as an adult, the child that's self-abandoned and not dealt with that level of feeling unsafe or feeling uncomfortable, they'll just go into situations which could kill them, which are uncomfortable, fighting 3 men at once. That's not a logical decision to make. It's not like you're fighting for your life. It's not like that's a bear and you've got to protect your family and you're going to fight the bear to survive. You're walking into it.
I was working the door at 18.
Yeah.
So you're standing on a door, you're completely outnumbered, you're stone cold sober. And back in the day, when I was 18, when it used to kick off in a club, it kicked off.
Yeah.
I was in my element.
Yeah,
I
you were
was
surviving.
in my element.
Yeah.
I'm going straight in and I'm going to deal with that. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it till I get there, but when I'm there, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
All in.
Yeah.
And again, the reason one of my businesses is a security firm, and I've looked into that. Of all the things you could have gone down, why did you do it? I like protecting people.
Yeah.
I don't want to flex. I'm the doorman. I'm the sheriff around here. I want to protect people. I want to keep you lot safe from people like him.
Yeah.
And I've thought into that.
Yeah, it's amazing, really, isn't it? Every facet of the world that you've touched in terms of business or entrepreneurship seems to be linked to doing some good somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you something as well, talking about businesses. Another one of our businesses, we provide personnel to the construction industry.
Yeah.
And that's another, obviously, male-dominant industry.
Yeah.
With so many broken people in there.
Oh, God, I know.
So we're placing labourers, telehandlers, bricklayers, you name it, all tradesmen onto the site. That side of things, I've sort of taken a step back from that now because I've got too many things going on and I'm now overseeing the businesses. But a lot of the time, I would spend, as the director of the company, on the phone in the evening for hours dealing with problems they've got, completely non-work related.
Yeah.
Divorce, addiction, bereavement, anxiety, depression.
You see it a lot in the trades, don't you?
Massively, and they all self-soothe.
Yeah, they do. Alcohol, drugs.
They're all drinking at night, and that's when, I mean, you cotton on pretty quick. Okay, they've had a few drinks, they've had a bit of Charlie, now they want to talk to me. Okay, how many beers in are you? I know you've been on the gear. I want to have this conversation when you're completely straight.
Yes.
But again, I'm using my position of where I am to try and help a few people.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not a charity.
No.
I'm out here to make money.
Yeah.
I don't want to paint myself to be like, oh, I'm trying to paint this. I'm not. I'm a businessman. I want to make as much money as I can. I want to be as successful as I can for every other reason anybody else does. Better life, better healthcare, better love for your family, just a better existence. But also in the process, this is what I always say. In order for me to get to where I want to be, I have to help others get to where they need to be.
Yeah, it's the elevating others to elevate yourself.
Yeah, you never catch me stamping on someone to raise my bar.
No.
Ever. Never been done. Anyone watching this that knows me, they'll confirm to that. It won't happen.
It's just not in you.
I'd sooner take a back step. I'd sooner regress for a little while rather than trample on someone, or I'd just completely bypass them. But yeah,
I kind of want to go a little bit further back before we go. So I want to go further back to get to the instant where your dad's done this evil thing with the drugs. And winding you up. Because you saying that is not many people like you, and I think you know that. And I mean that, and I know you struggle with compliments, but as you say, there's so many broken people that are self-soothing. You've done the fighting and you've done the experimenting with drugs and alcohol. So you've been there, done that, worn the T-shirt, but you're very grounded now, very successful at what you do. You do seem to have the sort of magic touch. But there was a little boy once that was exposed to this abuse, that was being manipulated and conditioned by a man that, again, narcissistic, definitely, and perhaps other things that, you know, maybe sociopath, perhaps even psychopath, for sure.
For sure.
So that little boy growing up, describe him to me before you really understand that things are going wrong.
Well, the little boy growing up, when you spoke about self-abandonment earlier on, as you're talking, and obviously I'm answering different questions, I'm thinking, okay, well, if I did self-abandon that child, at what stage was it? It would have been very young.
Yeah.
So really, my memory of being a child is cool.
I got you.
Got me. Fuck. Yeah.
Take your time.
I will.
Yeah.
And it's not even a big thing.
It's funny. It's not always the big things that get you.
Yeah. My memory as a child is playing computer battleships with my mum in her bed. Just me and her. We lived in Broadfield, and it was a real treat. She got computer battleships, and that's my memory as a child.
Yeah. Before.
And that's not me feeling like this. These ain't tears. I'm not like, fucking hell, I feel sorry for myself. I didn't have a childhood. It's like, that's a beautiful memory of me and my mum. Yeah. And I didn't even see that coming.
No.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then other than that, and my nan making me pancakes, I was very much an adult young on. From a very young age, I was an adult. I was his best man at his wedding when I was maybe 9.
Well, you were on his honeymoon, like you said.
So I was a man. I was a man as a boy. So yeah, maybe I'd never thought about this self-abandonment stuff. But yeah, at that, if I did, it would have been then. So yeah, I just remember me. I mean, I think we remain children forever.
Yes, a part of us does.
I think we're all children.
Yeah.
We just, our shoulders broaden and our skins thicken.
Yeah.
But I was definitely very adult from a young age. I was far more advanced than anybody else my age. And that's another thing my mum said that made her sad one day. She said, you've always been too grown up. Yeah. And the thing is, it's funny. Maybe I've reverted because I sort of act like I mean, this is a very serious conversation, but a lot of the time, I act like a big kid.
And you know, I've seen you with Simon, and there was a bit where we'd finished the podcast, we went to the pub to have something to eat, and you were just saying goodbye to him. And I watched you two just standing back a little bit, and like obviously the love and the hugs, and it was like two little boys in the nicest possible way, without any care in the world, just loving each other.
I tell you, it made me cry about Simon as well.
Yeah.
He's another childhood memory. Yeah. I fucking love him.
Oh, I know you do.
He's my cousin.
Yeah.
It's my cousin, by the way. Sorry about this. This wasn't part of the plan. Wasn't part of the plan. But you know what? It's beautiful. This isn't poor me. This is like, fuck, got some beautiful memories in my life that I'm going to take to the grave. And sometimes you forget about them for years. And then you think, wow. I remember that moment in time. And yeah, my cousin Simon, he's a few years older than me, but he always treated me so beautifully from kids. He's my nan's sister's son. Mm-hmm. So we don't say that we're second cousins.
No.
In fact, we'll leave it in.
You're more like brothers, really.
Yeah, we are like brothers. Yeah, and I love him.
And best friends. The energy between you two. If you've been on Liam's podcast, you'll have met Simon.
And the loyalty.
Oh God, he's lovely. You two together are just magic.
He would cry if he was here now with me. We sometimes look at each other and we're like, we know what we're feeling.
Yeah.
We're literally thinking, I love you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we
I
know
see
that.
see that. It was palpable.
And that's two men.
Yeah.
And he's alpha.
Yeah.
He's strong, solid alpha male.
Yeah.
He's another leader of man. He's another staunch provider. But we've got something, me and Simon, that's fucking deep.
Yeah. And both of you, again, I was sitting, never met either of you before that day, and felt in that space with you two, you were both so grounded, funny. I laughed so much. I didn't stop laughing that day. Considering the subject matter, that was brilliant. And you two just had a lovely, safe energy together. It is special. What was your memory of Simon that came up there?
All of them. All literally. Simon reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would always show me things that other kids didn't see because he was that much older. So when the Nintendo come out, I was one of the first to ever play Mario because he had it. I used to read his Viz magazines and his Viz annuals, and we'd go to the arcades down the caravan park, and he'd be, my big cousin, and I loved him.
Yeah.
And he loved me, and we both knew it.
Yeah.
And it was just
beautiful. Proper love.
Oh, Christ.
Whereas you had this real horrible relationship with your dad.
Do you know what? Mine and Simon's love it's like the most purest love on the planet.
Yeah.
There is nothing toxic about it.
No.
We would kill and die for each other.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And no matter, it could be, fuck me, he could be in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Liam, I need you. It's like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And I could be on the moon. I know that. Simon, I need you. I'm coming.
I know, and it's beautiful. Yeah. That is beautiful. That's rare.
Yeah, he is.
So rare.
Yeah, he is beautiful.
And you've got that. Obviously, your nan's not here now, is she?
No.
So you lost one of the, I guess,
the figureheads.
Heroes of your life.
The leaders.
How was that for you?
Oh, if I was to go down that, then I really am going to be in flux.
Yeah,
So
we won't go there then.
I will tread carefully.
Yeah.
Horrendous. I've never healed from it. It was 14 years ago. I never will heal from it.
Yeah.
I never want to heal from it.
No.
I never want to heal from that. I want to feel the pain of losing her forever because she deserves me to have that real intense, heavy duty feeling in me.
Yeah.
I want to carry her forever. And if it means crying in the kitchen once a week, even now, when a song comes on, I'm going to fucking own them tears because she earned the right to make me feel this broken because, part of me is missing.
Do you know what's so beautiful about everything you've said today is that you lean into every feeling fully. There is no stone left unturned with you. You don't shy away from any emotion, be it the anger that you explained beautifully earlier. I'm not going to go there today, Ella. I don't want to exhibit that energy, but I've seen you do it before and I know you lean into emotion. And that's why I think you're so, I know we're always healing, but I think that's why you're so healed at this point is because you lean into every emotion. You don't avoid, you don't ignore, you don't diminish, minimize. You lean into it, you feel it, you embrace it, you own it, you reflect, you offer. You it's very, very special.
I've seen what happens to people when they bottle things up.
Yeah.
I pay attention.
Yeah, I know you do.
I pay real close attention to people. And I've seen what happens. People that bottle things up, I mean, you're now dealing with a whole new fucking spectrum of problems.
Yeah.
Nervous breakdowns.
Yeah.
Depressed to the point of wanting to take your life.
Yeah.
Affecting your relationships because you can't open yourself and set your soul free with somebody that you're supposed to love and cherish. You're supposed to be committed together till death do you part. And I've seen it time and time again where people don't lean into whatever they're feeling. Now, if something was to make me laugh, I'd be fucking laughing here until I was crying again. I'm terrible. But that again, it's all in the same fucking arena. These human emotions. And if I am feeling something, it's like fucking own it. Have the confidence to let loose and let it go. And if we weren't being filmed here, I don't want this to be a cry fest for your audience. Like I would have just let that completely go.
Yeah.
I that was real hard to put the brakes on because once the seal's broke,
yeah,
then it's gone. And I'm cool with that. and I'm a human being after all. And if you can love as fucking raw as I can, I'm talking like, if I love you forever.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking around.
No.
So that comes with a price.
Yeah.
Things hurt.
Yes, they do.
Real bad.
Yeah.
And so, and also, when things are beautiful, they can kind of do that to me. It's funny. So, I mean, what do you make of this? So we can talk about my dad abusing me, essentially force-feeding me mind-altering fucking drugs, switching on me, fucking getting his cock out in front of me, sucking my tongue, belittling me, putting me down, bullying me. You can... Very traumatic stuff that would break most people.
Absolutely.
And I know it would, because I know exactly how it feels. But I won't bat an eyelid or cry or buckle. I think about playing fucking battleships with my mum and I'm gone. I think about my cousin, I'm gone.
Yeah. Well, I do think that's...
I think about my nan, I'm shattered.
Yeah. And it is interesting. It is interesting. And I do think there is disassociation there for all of us that have gone through those things.